Welcome to SMSU Esports. This is Craw McGraw. Joining me for my cast is
Spencer Slew here, head coach of the team. We decided to get me in, get a cast going as we were short one caster, so this should be an interesting cast.
and it's going to be my first League of Legends cast actually for SMSU. Um, haven't played the game a lot recently, but used to play it religiously for about 5 years. So
I
I'm
think we all had that little era where we all played League for way too much time.
definitely did.
But
Um,
as we get into game here, about a minute before we're into loading screen, we probably should go over champion select a little bit. So
yep,
SMSU decided they had second ban. They banned Lucian, Irelia, Vi for their first round, where Lawrence banned Karthus, Aloy, Oriana, and then they decided to first pick that Ornn pick. That's a pretty strong pick right now.
yeah,
And then SMSU decided to lock in the Gnar Udyr for their jungle and top. The Gnar was a little bit later in draft, but they got that strong mid game going with the Syndra, Udyr, Gnar, and they're probably hoping for that Ezreal Nami to kind of take over in the late game, be able to kite out these team fights a little bit because with the way Lawrence comp looks to be shaping up, they're going to have a really strong mid game with the Yone, the Draven, the Leona. All those characters are really strong if they're ahead, but they do fall off a bit if they're behind. So SMSU may be trying to survive a little bit and get to that point in the game
yeah. Now that bottom lane matchup of Draven Leona versus Nami and Ezreal, that is scary.
for sure.
Um, that is a very scary matchup. Ezreal not having that much wave clear to try and keep some distance between him and Draven, um, and that Morgana ban, really important for Lawrence because last picking that Leona into that bottom lane and forcing them not to have that Morgana is going to be really hard to keep that Ezreal just fully alive. Um, and you know, the Gnar versus Ornn matchup up in top lane, that's a fairly straightforward matchup. They're going to try and get their farm. They're going to poke each other out. Maybe have some aggression there, but they're really going to be looking to just farm up, get some items so that they can be that main tank for their team and just do what they need to as tanks. A little bit more engage on the side of Lawrence with that Gragas being able to come in there, throw his ult into the team fight, split the team up, and then Yone and Draven are just going to be looking to pick off that Syndra and that Ezreal. And
Yeah, for sure. These team fights are going to be a little bit different than normal team fights. I don't think they're going to be as straightforward as what you typically see in League of Legends games. With Udyr Gnar, Gnar is more of a straightforward team fighter, but Udyr likes to run around a little bit, maybe pressure the back line, cause a little chaos in the team, and find out who he can pick. And Ezreal is going to try to stay as safe as he can in those team fights, where Syndra is going to try to find somebody a little bit separated, hopefully separated by that Udyr, creating some pressure so she can make a pick on him.
yeah, the Udyr just really wants to just run around the map and cause some chaos. Doesn't necessarily want to exactly engage in straightforward team fights. So SMSU definitely going to be looking more for that split push type of play style.
Yep. And we see already that Yone is pressuring the Syndra in mid lane a little bit as Udyr starts on red and is rotating up to a Golems, looks like he's going to do a full clear here based on that. He's quite a bit ahead of that Gragas already, as Gragas is just finishing red buff, a little bit slower on the jungle.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Udyr decides to just really just farm up really hard early on in this game, or if he's going to look for some early lane pressure, possibly towards mid, but especially definitely going to need it towards bottom. We'll have to see if SMSU decides, depending on how that bottom lane goes, if it does start to go not well, just maybe focusing their pressure onto mid with Udyr and less on the bottom side.
No, I especially see that in this Yone matchup is a little difficult for Syndra. If she gets ahead, this is a good matchup for her. But if she falls behind, it can be really rough. So if Udyr is able to get a little bit of early pressure in that mid lane, then that should really change the outcome of that lane. And Gnar goes mega already, getting some health restore as he hits full rage bar, but he is struggling a little bit versus the Ornn. As Ornn is punishing him with that magic damage, it's just so hard to deal with.
All three of these lanes for SMSU already getting really far pushed into their towers. And, SMSU kind of playing a little bit more, trying to play a little bit more safe, trying to know that, they don't have as much of a early or mid-game power spike as Lawrence does. And trying not to give up those early kills to give
Well,
them
yeah,
that snowball.
especially important when you look at this bot lane. This Draven is kind of Lawrence's signature player here, and he got a really good lane matchup. So Lawrence will be looking to snowball their Draven here and try to get ahead extra early. So SMSU is doing a good job just trying to stay alive, stay away from giving them gold early, so that they don't fall behind and end up in a bad situation where Draven hard carries the game.
Yeah, Ezreal and Nami, they're just really not winning that trade with Draven and Leona. Just literally just two auto attacks from Draven, one on Ezreal and one on Nami, and just chunking the heck out of them.
It is important. Oh, and we actually missed a slight gank mid there, as they are actually able to execute on that plan we were talking about early with getting some Udyr pressure on mid. Is big for this Syndra to get ahead in this matchup and be able to win this mid lane. That is really important for SMSU early, as Yone is down in CS and Udyr is able to pick up that kill with Syndra only getting the assist, but that is really important. Now they really should have shoved this lane in order to deny all this farm, because Yone's going to get here and he's pretty happy actually.
Yeah.
He's he's like, oh, it doesn't really matter that I died. I got all this free farm.
Yeah, Syndra back there a little too early before she needed to clear that in, and we see a gank coming out here into the top lane by Udyr. Prior to that, however, Gnar just did not quite have enough health to really, push that into tower and get Ornn like they needed to.
And Ornn just TP's back. He doesn't want to miss this farm. This is a huge wave. This is about a level for Ornn, so missing that would have been massive for SMSU. Oh, and they catch Draven with a bubble, but they just don't have the damage in this lane to trade back.
Gragas positioning towards bottom, kind of looking to see if he can do something. Gnar's going to actually TP mid here.
Looks like they got baited in a little bit by that Yone going aggressive, but he had his dash out already, and that is a waste of a TP by SMSU. That's something that they won't have up for a long time. Ornn was able to use his to neutralize that gank pressure, but Nard doesn't get any advantage with his. He actually loses time from walking from mid all the way up to top.
Yeah, and Ornn looks like he's just placing a ward down in river by Rift Herald. Gonna keep going here on this bottom lane, seeing how everything is going. Apologize, we're just having a little bit of technical difficulties here. Okay, we're back. Yeah, it's interesting to see if I really want to see this Syndra in mid for SMSU really pressure that kill that she got on Yone, and see if they can get some more pressure there with Udyr. They already have the kill and a little bit of advantage in that lane, so they really need to push that. Focus on their winning lanes.
And look at the team coordination coming out from Lawrence here. They know they need to secure that bottom scuttle if they wanted to do Dragon. So they pull their support and their mid laner and make sure that Grog is able to get that. And he's going to start to try to solo Dragon here. But Udyr does see it coming. This is really important for SMSU to have caught this really early. Without Gnar having TP, that's pretty important for Lawrence. They're going to look to force this fight here. SMSU is getting bullied off this. They need to push up quickly if they want to fight this. 1,000 health on Dragon.
4v4 here.
And Yone goes into the back line here, and he's looking to get some extra pressure down. SMSU lives through it, but Lawrence is able to secure the Dragon. Udyr trying to DPS the Leona, it gets the kill on that, but the Gragas is able to trade it back and potentially get the kill on Nami. As the top side of the fight looks like SMSU is out in, but Nami is lost in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, Nami's
going to
go
for a kill
right
on this
up into
Draven.
that Draven.
Oh, this is really unfortunate for SMSU.
You really don't want that Draven to get that kill.
Oh, but she is able to pressure Draven enough that Draven has to blow his flash and he doesn't get the kill, which is really important for SMSU, not giving that bounty from Draven. As anybody who's played versus Draven knows, once he gets a kill and gets that cash in from his passive, he's just so hard to play against because he essentially gets 2 kills for that.
Yeah, especially in that bottom lane matchup. If he had gotten that kill, that would have been a lot of pressure onto DK Man for SMSU on his Ezreal. And we can see that, Ezreal had a lot of time in that bottom lane to try and push that lane, but with Ezreal's kit, he really doesn't have that much wave clear, so he couldn't really get that too far in there. The tower's going to deny some farm, but Leona is there to, pick some of it up, get a little bit of extra cash onto her support.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's really important. SMSU's done a great job, actually. They're falling behind in CS in this bot lane, falling behind in mid. Top's able to stay consistent, and jungle's able to stay consistent. But really, they're down a little bit more than you would like to see. But, being down 5 CS, 10 CS versus Draven, not such a big deal. As long as you're getting out of lane without dying, not able to get them to turn in here. We'll see, with Leona is probably about to hit 6 here. Yep, just hit 6. This is the kill pressure for Lawrence State. If they're unable to get kills in this lane, and SMSU is able to stay somewhat relevant in farm, this is a win for SMSU when we go into the late game.
Ezreal Nami just giving that Draven and that Leona the respect that they deserve with that kill pressure. I hadn't actually noticed earlier that when the kill went down in mid lane, Syndra didn't actually get that kill. Udyr did.
Yep. Udyr was able to get the kill. Syndra only got the assist, but Grog is looking for a dive here. Udyr, did he see it? Is he looking for a gank as well? It looks like, Gragas gets found out here. And they do see that, each team sees each other here, and the dive is going to go through anyway. SMSU getting some damage, but Yone's here way before the Syndra. Are they able to trade this back? Oh my, and Draven gets that turn and we were talking about. He dies, but that's still really good for Draven. Oh, yeah, Grog is able to clean up another kill there. 3 for 2 as SMSU Syndra rotates in. If she's able to pick up this Gragas, that definitely helps. But it's still probably not even an even trade, even if she gets this kill.
Syndra does have Flash and does have Ignite.
Yeah, you would think he would have flashed Ignited already, though, if he was going to go for it. Oh, he does go for the flash stun. W into the ult.
Doesn't
not
get the
quite
Ignite off,
the damage. Oh, what an unfortunate play from SMSU there. I think maybe he thought that he would kill him with just ult, and he didn't think he needed his Ignite. But that is unfortunate and really sets SMSU behind in this game. Especially Draven's going to be coming to lane with quite a bit of items. If we look, he already finished his Eclipse, and he's got a Dorn's Blade boots already. What are we looking at on Ezreal? We're looking at just Fade Sheen, going for that Trinity Force with a tier early, but he's significantly behind in damage in comparison to this Draven with 151 AD to only 93.
Yeah, that bounty kill for Draven was massive on that tower dive there.
I mean, look at that. His just one auto out damaged the heal from Nami.
Oh,
that is hard if you're that
Ezreal.
Yep. And SMSU maybe looking for a little play with Udyr. He looks like he's going to invade. He feels strong enough to 1v1 this Gragas. He looks to be hunting him here a little bit, just getting some vision control. Take away his Gromp. As there's a fight going in top and a fight going in bottom, as Draven's able to get a kill on Nami and maybe get a kill with his ult here. Not quite. Ezreal looking to trade back the kill. Not quite.
Ezreal is playing a dangerous game right now.
If he can position slightly different, a 1Q might take down, but not anymore. Draven's healing up here. He's in a really unfortunate spot here. He needs his team to come in and help him. And actually, up top, Gnar dies on that gank as well.
Udyr is really just not... We need to see more pressure coming out from SMSU's Udyr, and it may... Hopefully it's not a little too late. Oh, tower dive going on.
Ezreal here. What we said about that being risky being there, and it pays off for Lawrence State. They're able to get another kill on Draven, and more importantly, a kill onto Ezreal here, making Draven's lead in this lane almost insurmountable. It's going to be really difficult for SMSU to fight this lane anymore. I almost think they should be lane swapping back, and they look dive at Udyr mid as well. Lawrence State making plays all across the map, and we don't see anything from SMSU.
And before Udyr went down there, Syndra actually went down in mid too.
Oh, that is really unfortunate for SMSU. Action coming across the map, it's hard for us to keep up with, because when fights happen in one lane, fights are happening in all lanes by the looks of it. But Lawrence State, they start Dragon. They know they have the advantage now.
Yeah,
There's no point in them not taking these dragons. They should be free for them.
yeah. There's no way for SMSU to contest that dragon there. They are down in all of their lanes right now, and
But we just see that when Dragon starts again, our SMSU's top laner, Pajamas, fights the Orin here, and he's able to kite it out a little bit, get Meganar, and stun him into the tower and get a free kill with the assistance of the tower there. That's pretty important for SMSU.
yeah, Nar and um, excuse me, Nara and Orn up there definitely playing the top lane island game.
But look at this
while-
dive into mid lane. SMSU's Syndra
Oh,
unable to stay alive. They don't have any vision control down here. I don't know if they didn't see her on the ward that was in that bush. And unfortunate for SMSU, this Syndra is falling behind in this Yone matchup, and that is really bad for SMSU. And Udyr's picking up, again, more than he can chew, it looks like. Going aggressive, down 3 levels on the lane with Leona there. I don't know why he's playing aggressive, but while he's being killed mid, the bot lane gets double killed.
oh, that bot lane, they were hurting before, but they are just gonna
Yeah,
keep
let's
hurting
take a
and
quick
hurting.
relook at that fight. Oh, it's just a great gank by Gragas.
Flash E from Gragas.
Yeah, and
just-
Ezreal tries to trade the kill back, but he's unable to and gives Draven another turn in.
doesn't even need Leona there. He has Gragas.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's skip back forward to game time here as we jumped back to see those replays of those fights. Looks like SMSU's positioning a bit towards top. I think they're just trying to get away from that Draven. At this
Yeah,
point.
SMSU in a 6K gold deficit here, and a ton of that is on Draven. Draven has 128 CS to Ezreal's 75, plus he has 4 kills and 4 assists.
And SMSU tries to go aggressive again mid, but they underestimate how many players are mid. It looks like they keep going in these outnumbered situations, and Lawrence State's just there to capitalize.
With SMSU's team comp here, they really don't have the tools they need to stall this game out to get their champions to spike when they need them to. With Lawrence's just team comp, with their ability to spike more in the early to mid game and getting that ability to right now with that, well, about 8K gold difference now.
I mean, if you just compare that, it's 30K to 20K. That they have an insane lead.
yeah.
Not only is it 8K, but it's just when you look at the amount, the amount of gold each team has, they have, 33% more money.
Yeah, and that doesn't even factor in the pressure they have on the map, the vision
experience
control,
leads. Yep.
or experience leads, or the 2 dragons they've managed to pick up in Ocean.
Yeah,
and Mountain.
exactly. And that, they're starting to prep for early soul here. And I don't know if SMSU will be coming online before that soul will be available. But SMSU is looking for a fight onto Leona. Udyr opens up with a nice stun onto Leona. Looks to be overextending a little bit
Ornell's
as the
gonna come out,
counter
gonna get
engage comes in.
Stun on 2 of them. Udyr's gonna fall. Also gonna come out from Nami.
And that's what we saw. We saw the over commit there.
And that absolute disgusting damage coming out from Draven. Just 2 auto attacks on Ezreal almost kills him.
See, I don't know why the Cinder from SMSU wasn't rotated up for that play. If you're going to go that aggressive, your mid laner should already be walking towards that play. Being stuck mid lane means she can't help in that extended chase. And then Gnar, probably, we can rewatch the play, but I'm going to guess it's very similar to what we watched last time where he baits him under tower and stuns him under tower and gets a free kill. Let's watch that.
Lawrence not quite respecting the Gnar stuns and ability to CC themselves a little bit, but with that type of gold lead that they have, respect isn't something they necessarily need to give to SMSU right now.
But it is important for this Gnar is able to stay in the game here. It's really important for SMSU. This is the one saving grace they have, and exactly like we said, is that Gnar under tower. You can't dive him when he's got that high of a rage bar.
No, you really can't. He's just gonna stun you. He's gonna ult you into the walls, stun you again.
Yep.
And just pound
And
on
you're
you.
dead. That tower does a lot of damage at this point in the game. We are at 17 minutes, but towers are still impactful.
Yeah. Speaking of towers though, SMSU doesn't have a single tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it's And even with that kill onto Yone, the gold lead is still 9,000. It's just a free
Oh,
kill on
and
Nami here.
Nami is just.
You know, they're just pushed up too far with no control. But there looks like they're going to try to make a play on
Oh,
it. Ezreal's able to survive. Syndra
gets his
gets
ult.
out. Oh, and that kill onto Yone. He's Gnar able to do something here with Mega Gnar. Not quite. You know, that was close by SMSU. Oh, but
Oh,
they are
big
able to
ult
make the
from
re-engage.
Gnar.
Big ult from Gnar. Oh, Ezreal and Syndra line up, though, for the barrel by Gragas.
Oh no.
Oh, what an unfortunate... Oh.
What could have been a massive turnaround for SMSU there and getting 3 kills ends up only being a 2-for-4 trade.
And let's rewatch that fight as, you know, they're going to clean up Dragon here for free, and, you know, there's not much watching that.
Yeah, a 2-for-4 fight plus you get Dragon,
Well,
an
let's
Infernal
see.
Dragon of all things.
SMSU forward a little bit here, especially for the positioning of their jungler in mid.
Ooh,
And
dear.
Leona just opens with that ult. That's a free kill on Nami, but Udyr really wanted this fight. And it looks like, you know, they might have it with Orin in base. They're able to get on Draven pretty well here, but Udyr gets locked up before he's able to follow in. He dies, and Ezreal able to survive there with just barely any HP. This is where we thought the fight was over here, but watch this Mega Gnar play. Just a nice jump into ult, hitting all three of them. And if these guys split up or dodge that barrel at all, that's such a big fight for SMSU. But because they were unable to,
Yeah, that is very unfortunate for SMSU. They really needed to win that fight with their Gnar to get a little bit back into, have a chance to get back into the game.
yeah, and then Lawrence States goes and does the dragon. They reset here, and they push up mid. Now let's see what they decide to do with their team. You know, Baron spawning in 30 seconds here. Yone knows he's strong enough to push solo. As long as he doesn't dive that Gnar, get baited into that tower, he should be fine in this lane. Two people mid, just Orin and Draven. These guys, they're really tough time for SMSU to kill them because Draven's outputting so much damage.
Yeah, if SMSU groups when they group for their team fights, they really need to try and get that pick on the Draven first and foremost, and get that Yone if they can. But with Gragas
Right
and Ornn
there.
and
What do you...
Leona,
They can't
it's
even contest their own jungle now. Draven's just walking and he's taking everything. That Udyr just gets picked out because Draven just walks in and autos him 3 or 4 times. This is what we were talking about with the early game Draven Snowball. No, his Eclipse is finished, the Collector's finished, a BF Sword, Berserker Greaves, and then he's got Lifesteal in order to stay alive in these fights for a long period of time. And SMSU doesn't realize that they're on Baron or doesn't think they can fight it.
yeah.
And this is going to snowball into so much gold advantage.
If you're
for them.
SMSU here, you have to at least send Udyr there.
Yeah.
Well,
And
his
then they're
flash
not
is
even
down,
able to
but
pick up the ore, and he walks out of bot lane after 4 people were
yeah.
chasing him.
Lawrence is getting a free Baron there essentially.
Yep.
Not SMSU not pressuring any lane. They're not even pushed out of their lanes really.
No.
Ornn's pressuring bottom lane. A Wave's pushing in top lane.
And look at how safe Orin feels. He's pushed almost an entire half the map past the rest of his team.
Yeah.
But SMSU they don't have the damage to kill him.
They, they had an opportunity there where Ornn was a little bit out of position, but
Look at
now
this.
his team's gonna
Udyr's
be
just
there.
jungling behind where the Udyr's pushed. You can never do that. You can't jungle where a lane's pushed past you.
Yeah.
And he just gives it over to Udyr and loses time on the map.
I think for Udyr, throwing out that mastery symbol, not really the game to do it, and not the time in the game to do it.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. It looks like they might try to set up a little bit onto this Udyr.
Oh, but Ornn is
Or
so
onto this
tanky.
If Gnar's able to dodge, able to stun him here so he can't utilize his ultimate, looks like they're going to get the kill here. It's as long as Udyr survives is big for SMSU.
Barely survives.
But Draven is able to take the top tier 2 turret during that time. So Lawrence is not even going to be mad about that type of fight, especially if they're able to get this much damage. Are they able to take this turret for free here?
Easily.
Are they unable to pressure this?
With all that damage from Draven.
Oh my, such a tough game for SMSU to make their way back in now because this Draven's just fully online, and Ezreal, until he hits 6 items, is not going to be able to contest him. Oof.
Oh, one auto coming out from Draven, and it just takes out a third of Ezreal's health instantly. Yeah,
Looks
all
like.
Lawrence has to do to finish this game out is just stay grouped
Yep.
and keep taking towers.
And even Draven doesn't even care that there's a tower there. He'll take a couple hits. He's got lifesteal. He's full health again. And with the Orin TPing back in, and the Udyr
Udyr just
engaging way in front of his team. Now he's unable to defend the tower. I don't know why he would engage that far in front of his team. I don't know if it was some miscommunication by SMSU.
Lawrence just gonna group here, just gonna keep taking those towers. They have 2 inhibs now. 2 inhibs, 18k, 16k gold lead. There's really not much hope for SMSU here.
Well, it looks like they're gonna group here for the Infernal Drake here. Taking this essentially ends the game.
Yeah,
I don't think
Lawrence
there's anything they
really
can do
doesn't even
here.
need this. They could
Yeah.
just group 5-man mid and
Oh, I thought the Ezreal had stolen that for a second.
push.
That would have been so big. All right, SMSU. If they can survive, the only thing they can do now is just try to survive for as long as possible.
Yeah, and
The
they don't
longer
have.
they survive, the easier this game gets for them.
Yeah, but with the third tier 3 tower getting taken down there, and either gonna fall or the 2 Nexus towers are gonna fall here, and it's gonna be game
Yep,
for Lawrence.
for sure. It looks like there's just nothing they could do in these team fights. Look at that. Everyone dies instantly here. But that is game 1 of the series, and we will see if SMSU are able to make a comeback here in game 2 and bring it to game 3. And we will be back in it should be just a couple minutes here. We'll be back in a little bit here.
Welcome back to SMSU Esports for our second game of SMSU versus Lawrence University in League of Legends. Coming out of the um, pick and ban phase here, we got both of the teams with their team comps and their bans locked. Um, just at a first glance, a lot of AD in the comp for Lawrence University.
For sure. You know that Gragas does some magic. He does good magic damage, but being the only one on your team doing magic damage is Gragas. You know, if SMSU are able to get ahead on that Ivern and set, they should be able to stack some armor and really cause a problem for this Lawrence State team comp. On the All right. I
Yeah,
don't know if we were having some technical difficulties there. I don't think I was being picked up on mic. So let me go back quick through that. You know, the Gragas is being the sole source of AP for Lawrence. You know, it's really risky composition because if Set and Ivern are able to get ahead from SMSU, they should be able to stack armor and really cause problems for that Lawrence composition. On the other hand, though, you know, they do have a good comp at snowballing, getting ahead again. Irelia versus Zir, very hard matchup again for the SMSU mid laner. If he's able to stay alive and farm in that lane, he's really, really happy. Irelia does die off a little bit as the game progresses, so it'd be nice to see SMSU getting ahead and keeping that Azir ahead of that lane matchup.
yeah, and also just the amount of engage that Lawrence has versus the amount of engage that SMSU has. SMSU is playing a much more counter engage comp with the Azir, with the Morgana, um, versus that. The more engage that's going to come out of Lawrence with their Pantheon, with their Gragas, and then you also have Aurelia and Renekton. Just if they can all get in there and dogpile in, they're going to delete some of the members of SMSU.
And here we go, running out of fountain here. We'll see what defensive or aggressive setups they try. Looks like Lawrence might go for an invade here with all 5 people jumping into the same bush. It'll be interesting. This Morgana is going to get challenged really early. Let's see if Morgana spots it early enough.
She's going to
Morgana
see
is in
him
such.
before.
Oh, she
Oh,
sees
but
it a little late. She's gonna need to flash. Okay, she flashes here. That is all right from SMS. SMSU is happy to get that flash. They know where all their people are. You know, flash is on cooldown, but usually it doesn't mean much when you lose it at the first minute here,
mm,
as by the time lanes really get established, your flash is going to be close to coming back up.
yeah.
So SMSU is happy that Morgana survived. They're able to get a ward. They know that Lawrence doesn't know that they placed a ward there. Though, okay, SMSU pings out that they warded their own red. They they are now fully aware of what Lawrence State was trying to do, and let's see if they can get a plan together to kind of counter what Lawrence is trying to do there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this bot lane matchup works for SMSU versus Lawrence. Not as much early game pressure coming out of Jin, but Lawrence does have that Pantheon, and Pantheon took Ignite versus the exhaust that Morgana has. But having Morgana, they can kind of disengage a little bit more, avoid those Pantheon stuns.
Yeah, again, a more aggressive lane from Lawrence State, a less aggressive lane from SMSU,
Hmm.
but they do have more tools to counter what Lawrence is going for in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I think definitely a better draft for SMSU in this game versus the draft of Lawrence as compared to last game. They really didn't have the tools they needed last game to delay that game enough.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of those games where if you fall behind, the game's kind of over last
Yeah.
game. But SMSU, they have tools this game to deal with it a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely with the Azir, definitely with
And
the
we were seeing
Caitlyn.
the Irelia go in for a really early trade, really aggressive, taking a tower shot for that
Still
onto
gonna
the
come out on
Zir.
top of that trade though.
She comes away on top. Let's see if Azir is able to recover there, as that was a lot of punishment.
Looks like Gragas is gonna go for an early invade possibly here. Maybe he's just going for a ward.
And Ivern should see it here.
Ooh,
He's
matching up
actually
at the
going,
camp.
and he's probably just gonna smite this. I think he got his channel off there on the camp. No, he didn't get his full channel off, but he gets it off now. He's able just to smite this away whenever he wants. If it smites up, I don't know if it okay, he does smite it away. That's good from SMSU, able to secure that cap. Waste a lot of Gragas time there. As all the other lanes seem relatively even. A fight going on top, though. Set able to get that big shield and a big amount of damage coming through. SMSU on board first here.
Ivern is there in the mid lane to give a little bit of support to Azir. Nothing going to actually happen there. SMSU fairly pushed under tower in their bot lane. But that's a big kill coming out there on that set to get some early pressure for SMSU. They really need it. They really need that this game after how last game went.
And, I had a minute to sit down and talk to SMSU's top laner after that game. And he mentioned he was really frustrated he didn't play more aggressive. And, right away, the aggression's coming out. He's looking for blood. And that is what we like to see.
Perfectly timed W from this.
Ivern just needs to let this go. Ivern is so worried about trying to get this scuttle. He could have farmed 2 or 3 camps during this time. And he doesn't get it. And then he just recalls.
Now he's just going to back. That's just wasted time, wasted farm for SMSU's Ivern. And
you have to let it go when they have so much pressure. You can't be worried about falling behind. Ivern getting pressured again by the Irelia, able to dash out, but Irelia wins that trade again. Look at SMSU on their bot lane. They're poking a lot more. This is so much better from SMSU.
Set gonna ward up top.
And it was pinged by Renekton that is warded. So let's see if Gragas goes for an interesting gank route to get around that ward. It's really dangerous when the enemy top laner knows which bush you warded, whether you warded here or here, because it gives different gank routes for his jungler, and that's all very valuable information.
Big trade coming out there.
Yeah, Set going for a trade, and a lot of damage traded back onto Renekton. That is massive. And looks like SMSU's caused the Lawrence's bot lane to back. And, if they are able to push this in and they should be able to get a good item advantage here.
SMSU here definitely needs to just try and fast push this wave in.
And look at what Jin went for. You could tell he's missing gold because he went longsword double dagger, which is a really bad buy on Jin in comparison to what you would like. SMSU wasting a little bit of time here. I don't know if they didn't know that their lane had backed, but they could have backed there, had a better item timing, or pushed for a plate there. Instead, they go for a ward.
Yep, because now Jin has, even though Caitlyn has, they have some pressure on that Jin. Jin has the items and Caitlyn doesn't.
Yep, exactly. Until SMSU back, they don't have an
advantage.
Gragas is
gonna be here for a gank.
But they were, maybe I was wrong. I do think Morgana should have been the one warding during that push, but that ward possibly saves their life there.
Ooh, Set still pressuring that Renekton up top.
And we see, that Irelia mid is really pressuring the Azir. Double the CS in mid lane. Azir needs to get Ivern around to get some pressure so he can take that for free. But Ivern is able to spot the Gragas doing Dragon here. If they're able to get pushed up here, is SMSU going to flash over the wall? Oh, and he's going to commit. He's dead. There's nothing they can do. And, the Morgana shouldn't even be up here. That person's dead. Kind of a waste by Ivern. Is his flash not up? Oh, he flashed down. Or missed his flash. I thought I saw Blast going down.
He used the
Blast gun, right?
Yeah, the fruit to pop in there, and then he flashed out, but he still got killed.
But he still got killed.
Lost his flash.
He should have flashed instantly. Right after you missed that smite, you have to flash out. He waited in that pit for too long. That Aurelia was able to chase up.
Yeah, Grog is having a 1-level advantage on him here. Ivan really not doing a whole lot on the map. Wasting that time earlier with the scuttle. He needs to get some pressure into some of these lanes. I'd like to see him up in top lane, give some more pressure to Pajamas, because Pajamas has a level lead over the Renekton, and that lane is fairly winning.
And it looks like Lawrence State is having some sort of technical issue. Not a technical issue. Somebody's parents are in somebody's room. Now, that is not typically an issue you see with college esports, but at times it pops up. No, I would be frustrated if it was me, but looks like we're going to take a short pause here, hopefully, and we should be getting back to the game soon. If we look at the lane matchups, though, Set is destroying top lane now.
Yeah,
Going from an even top lane last game to an open top lane this lane, he's up 20 CS on his lane opponent. He's up a kill. He's up a lot of pressure. He hasn't backed. He's going to be able to back pretty soon here and get a massive advantage in that lane.
but look at that mid matchup. Look at
Yeah,
that
that mid matchup,
kill and that
it's
CS difference between Azir and Aurelia. Aurelia is just bullying that Azir hard.
and that's where we need to see that set make a play towards mid.
Yeah,
You really need to bring that the pressure you have from winning that top lane down to influence other lanes. If you leave that lane alone, I really will be happy to have her acting as far as he is if she is ahead the way she is.
yeah. It's weird too. We're not seeing a lot of pressure come out from Ivern. Especially with how that champ works, being able to set up the camps and then use his smite to take them. He really needs to set up multiple camps and then get some pressure in some of these lanes to help his
Yep.
laners out.
Yep. You usually see him walk around and mark a lot of the camps, and then he'll come back, and after you wait so long on Ivern, you can get the camp for free, or you can smite it to get it instantly. So usually what you see is them walk around the jungle, maybe take this camp, this camp, this camp, this camp, then gank top. After they gank top, you walk back through and you collect all that farm.
We really haven't seen any pressure come out from Ivern at all.
No, the only play we saw the Ivern make was that jump into Dragon, which we said, if he flashes out right away, it's a good try. But if you wait to flash, if you're looking for a fight, the Ivern or the Azir was in no position to fight. Irelia is massive. You cannot fight that. And SMSU just gives up a free kill. And, a kill onto Irelia to make mid lane even worse. Instead of ganking for Ivern, he had you know, instead of ganking for Ivern and getting, or Ivern ganking for Azir and getting Azir ahead, I Azir actually ends up further behind due to the Ivern
Yeah,
influence. So we really gonna need to see the Ivern babysit mid a little bit. He might just need to be there during wave crashes just to make sure Azir's able to farm.
yeah. This bottom matchup fairly even right now. Um, one assist onto the Jhin. He has a little bit more CS than Caitlyn does. Um, but you know,
I think SOC will take that every day when you compare it to last game.
yeah,
Last
absolutely.
game it was really bad what we saw happen bot lane. But this game, SMSU, 10 CS, I think I mentioned that in the previous game. Down 10 CS, not a big deal. Doesn't really come into factor very often. Now, down 3 kills, especially on a Draven who snowballs, really rough to come back from.
Yeah.
Almost impossible to even lane verse.
Yeah, it is worth noting that Caitlyn actually hasn't even backed yet. She hasn't
Hmm.
bought her first round of items.
And she does have a wave coming into her here, too. So
Yeah.
that 10 CS should be down to only 7 CS after this wave. But she does need to find an opportunity to push this lane out. Caitlyn wants out of this lane right now. She
Yeah.
wants out. She wants to go back, get some items, and get
It,
her a recall off here. If Ivern, I've said he needs to be mid, but actually he also does need to be bottom. Being
yeah.
bottom and just helping pressure that into the turret to ensure your bot lane gets a good back. That's also a really important thing that a lot of junglers they don't understand item timings or when somebody just needs you there so they can freely shove lane
Mhm.
without being
Yep.
worried of bad things happening when they're shoving.
Yeah. Just overall, Ivern just needs to get pressure into his
Yep,
lanes.
exactly.
He needs to help out.
And with his blue buff spawning, I have a feeling like most junglers, they see that blue buff come up. Oh, that's the only thing on my mind is
Yep.
taking that blue buff. So we will see if Ivern, is able to recognize these dangerous situations that are arising on the map, and if he's able to navigate them, or if he's unaware of these situations and if they really punish SMSU.
Yeah, I for years I used to play jungle and I'm very guilty of that. Well before we had automatic timers for
Yep.
when you knew your buffs were coming up, you had to
You have all that
set a timer.
memorized. You got your phone on your
Yep.
desk with a little timer on it, trying to keep track of when the jungle stuff's respawning.
Yep, typing in the chat. Oh, dragon. Dragon, blue buff.
Yep.
729. And then knowing when it's going to spawn.
And that was back again when we saw junglers have a lot less pressure. It was a little bit more of a mid-game focused game back then. But nowadays we see jungle having quite a bit of influence on the rest of the map, more than they've ever had before. And if you fall behind as a jungler and you're not able to influence the map the same way the other jungler is, it's going to be really hard for your team to get pressure to make any plays.
Yeah, when as jungler, you really need to be able to get that pressure into the lanes. If you're just farming the jungle, you're not going to be doing what you need for your team.
You might be getting yourself ahead, but getting you ahead doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
It's a team game. We've got 5 players in each team, and 1 player being ahead doesn't do anything. 2 players being ahead starts to have impact on the game. But when your whole team's ahead, like this Gragas has been getting his team ahead, there's almost nothing SMSU can do. It's really tough to come back when everyone's behind, especially when you have the weaker mid-game team composition.
and especially when you're playing a jungler like Ivern, where you're really not a carry jungler. You're there to help
Exactly.
and facilitate your teammates to do what they need to do.
Mhm.
You know, he needs to be there in the bottom lane and in the mid lane to just help those lanes out. You can't just leave him high and dry like he has been.
And as this pause continues, it looks like there might be a technical issue. I think we're going to quick go to a break, and we'll be right back when this game goes live. And it looks like both teams have said that they are ready, so the unpause should be coming through shortly here. Yep, and here we go. We're getting back in the game. And, keep your eye on the Ivern right now. This is the most essential part of the game for him. Farming, taking that camp's fine. Look at mid's getting dove, and he's here. Is he able to have influence? And he misses his Q. Oh, Azir wins that fight. He at least gets the experience, trades 1 for 1. But if that Ivern hits his ability there, Azir lives, and that is a massive advantage for SMSU.
Yeah. See if Ivern, he'll pick up a little bit of, CS there in the mid lane. He's gonna let that just clean up what's under tower.
What a weird decision from Lawrence's bot lane, decided to back and give SMSU a free back. I get that Jin wanted to back. He wanted his Noon Quiver. But I feel like that is a massive mistake because SMSU were stuck on a no item buy and they were
Yeah.
pushed into turret. So as you can see, SMSU was able to get a free back. And even though they're a little bit behind in CS, they're fairly similar in items. Down a dagger, down a refillable. That's not too big of a deal. SMSU will be happy with that, and they're lucky to have gotten out of that
Ooh,
as
some
easy as they
Rift
did.
Herald action going down.
Yeah, it looks like Lawrence was able to get in and sneak this
And that's
Rift
just
Herald
gonna be a free Rift Herald for Lawrence.
as
That's
they brought their
massive.
support all the way up and looks like they're going to try to make a play on top. Now, does he see this coming? Looks like Ivern's aware of it, but he's
Is
playing
Ivern
pretty
gonna get
aggressively.
caught
He needs to
out?
be under the turret here.
Ivern
I
doesn't
don't
have his
know what he
teammates there to
thinks
help
he's.
him.
Oh, and he's dead. He is gone. Nothing SMSU can do to save this. And actually, Set playing aggressive and getting caught as well. Set needs to walk closer to the wall here. He's not going to be able to help this. Looking at this fight doesn't
And
change
SMSU
anything.
doesn't even pressure that Jin. They have 2 members bottom lane, but they're not pushing that wave and they're
And
not
Jin's
taking
actually
that
winning the
advantage.
fight.
That is very hard. SMSU, at the very least in that situation, it was a bad situation overall, but at the very least, they need their Caitlyn and their Morgana to push that wave and pressure Jin.
Mm-hmm.
Because Lawrence essentially gets both those kills for free.
Exactly.
They get those kills for free, and they're going to get a massive amount of damage on the top tower. SMSU doesn't get any damage on the tower. They don't get any kills. They don't even deny
And that
CS to the
Herald's
Jin.
coming through mid, and that's going to probably take mid turret unless Ivern's here to stop it.
And Ivern still just farming his jungle, not being there
The
for
dive
his team.
onto mid lane here. If Ivern's able to do some work here,
Disengage
this
comes
could be
out,
big
but
for SMSU. They're getting a lot of damage on their Aurelia, but they're unable to follow up.
Ivern is really aggressively positioning here.
Especially for how low he is. But he is able to walk in. The SMSU should be able to clear this wave.
Oh, but Ivern.
Ivern needs to hit the. Ivern needed to hit his snare there in order to get in and defend from that dive. But He's able to live versus the Irelia. That is pretty important. He needs to get away from this Irelia. Irelia has her minions tanking the tower now. She can attack. Oh, and the shield pops. He used shields way too early there. Using shield later gives him that kill. The only reason Irelia went in was because that shield was on cooldown.
If we notice in bottom lane doesn't even have a single plate off of that tower.
And actually, in that bot lane matchup where they were in a 2 versus 1 for a long period of time, Caitlyn is the one to fall.
And now Jhin taking a 20 CS lead over her.
And he's going to get some plates here.
With an extra assist.
Probably grabs 2 plates here. Well, looks like they're gonna back out, but he is gonna get 1. That is a lot of extra money ending up on Jhin. As Dragon is about to respawn, SMSU needs to find what they're doing here. Are they contesting this Dragon? Are they going for a different play with Ivern? Is Ivern just farming his Gromp here?
I think if you're SMSU here, you need to read this play and you need to push that Renekton and get that tower top.
No, I completely agree. Or get some pressure on this Aurelia.
Yeah. You can't be playing these solo. You're not in the laning phase anymore at this point.
Yeah, if this is from SMSU, this feels like a solo queue game.
Yeah.
People run around not being aware of things going on around the map. You know,
Ivern
saw,
is going to get stunned by Aurelia.
And he called Set down, but I don't know if Set's going to be able to get here to follow up on this play. Looks like they might be able to. And Azir with a big play, but Aurelia was able to dash to the creep and get back into the fight. Azir really doesn't need to make the play there. It looked like Set was going to catch up to it.
At the very least, SMSU gets the bounty on Aurelia there, but I don't think that's going to be enough.
It's just this gold lead bot from mid is getting massive, and he's falling further and further behind, and it's going to be hard for him to stay under that turret even.
Yeah,
Aurelia might be able to die from full health pretty soon here.
Seeing Lawrence started to kind of pull away on this game, having both an Infernal and an Ocean, plus about a 4K gold lead.
Yep. But if we look back to last game, at this point we were talking about a 6 to 7K gold lead. You know, Definitely. It is better from SMSU. They just need to stay in this game a little bit longer. Again, they do probably have the late game, but they have to make it to there is the problem.
Yeah, they need to start using their tools as a team instead of as individuals.
Oh, and with that binding mist, Lawrence, SMSU's Morgana needs to use Black Shield on herself. I don't know if it was down or what, but that seems like a pretty big mistake. If they're able to get Black Shield there, they don't lose Morgana, and Aurelia takes the turret, immediately pressuring mid lane again. This mid lane is so tough for Azir, and it doesn't even look like he's misplaying that hard. He just needs help.
And Ivern towards top lane here with his set. Renekton's incredibly low, but
look at this. Aurelia is just zoning Azir completely off the experience. All of it's dying to turret. This needed to be addressed 5 minutes ago in the game.
Yeah, Ivern trying to pressure top there, but and he's gonna probably get caught out by Aurelia here. Manages to get a stun there, but Renekton's here.
Why is he walking backwards? And caught
with that, that's a free kill for Renekton.
Yep, he uses his flash, but that's worth it. Gets more pressure on the map. Again, it might be a 0 tower game from SMSU, and you know, it's when you look at the map and you look at the pressure. You know, usually you can tell who's winning just by looking at how many towers are left up.
Yeah.
And from SMSU being down 2-0 in towers, that's a massive advantage. 12-4 in kills, that's a massive advantage. And that combined means SMSU is down 9K gold. Now, when you're down that much gold, it is almost impossible to fight back into your teammates. You need to find a way to turtle up, to get under some protective shell, get under these turrets that can deal damage to the enemies, and just try to get some farm, get back in the game. 9K gold lead at 15 minutes is a massive gold lead. 9K gold lead at 25 minutes, that's not so bad.
Yeah, you know, SMSU had an advantage in that top lane. Set had a level on Renekton at one point, but now Renekton is up a level on him. The CS is pretty much even, and the kills are even. And that is just...
And Set just looks like he might be over-aggressing onto The Pantheon here, I think he thought he was alone. He is
Oh,
able to get
managed
the
to pick
kill
one
on him with the
out.
alt and flash out of the Jin ult. Now he is alone here. He needs his team to help him.
Aurelia's going to
But
push up
look at
here and
everyone on
pinch
the
him.
SMSU's team. They all left him.
And
And I
no
don't.
one,
I
no one on.
think that's the right call. I don't think they could have made it there. But Set making a solo play again, not using team to
Yeah.
his advantage.
And he had teleport there too. He could have possibly teleported out of that situation, maybe.
I think he was a little worried that somebody would come there and interrupt the teleport.
Yeah,
And then being down teleport and dying there, it's
that is
pretty
true.
rough. As we see, Lawrence is seeming to reset a little bit here.
Ooh, Grog is going to go on to
The Ivern here.
there.
Iverns have to flash out of it too.
Ivern just continues to be really aggressive without any of his teammates there to support him, and he doesn't have, like, even if they were even, Ivern doesn't necessarily always have the damage to really be that aggressive without his teammates there. Now, SMSU does have some decent wave clear in the form of Caitlyn and Azir. And Morgana can help a little bit out there too, but it's support Morgana. She's not going to be really taking that job up. But yeah, they really just...
And this Ivern now comes to try to help relieve pressure from the Azir, but it's just too late in the game for that, I don't think there's anything Ivern can do. Irelia probably gets a double kill if they try to go in.
Morgana's about to get possibly caught out here.
Yeah, but she does hit the binding. If she's able to black shield, she needs
stunned.
the black shield here.
Necton's there. Lawrence not quite deciding to go in on that, not having the flashes to follow up.
And you can see from build choice here, she's starting to put points in that W. I think at this point in the game, with SMSU down the way they are, points in Black Shield would pay off a lot right now. Getting that cooldown a little bit lower as these engagements seem to be happening quickly. But looks like SMSU is going to go for a slight engagement onto Jin. Not able to follow up on it, though.
While that's happening, though, Lawrence's Gragas just picks up a free dragon.
Yeah. Oh, this is mine. This is free. No one's contesting me. I will be taking that.
Ivern can't do anything against him.
And, the Set gets stunned so much he's unable to use his W, which is his massive amount of survivability, his shield. And this looks like SMSU is just in another tight spot where the comeback is gonna have to be immaculate to win this game.
Yeah,
Coming back from a game like this is extremely difficult.
I was wondering at the beginning of this game if we would see as much early game aggression come out from Lawrence as we saw last game. And, with that kill on that first blood onto Set, that was a massive, but SMSU just didn't take that advantage and push it anywhere.
Exactly. It looked like, we were having some more pressure from the Irelia earlier, but from a lot of the lanes, they're a lot more passive until a little bit later in the game. But the aggression comes back out just a couple minutes later than it came out in the game before, and there's nothing SMSU can do about it.
Not even... Lawrence has had full objective control in this game. They've gotten 3 dragons. They got a free Rift Herald. They've had control of Scuttle.
And SMSU keeps fighting like they're even. You can't take that type of a fight when you're behind like this. You have to get wards up, and you have to try to keep as much farm as you can safe.
And if you manage to find a member of Lawrence actually caught out, you can pick them off, but you have to have at least 2 to 3 teammates to actually do that. You can't take solo engagements.
And especially going in on this Irelia, I think that's really difficult for SMSU right now, and that's why, this game is, snowballing so far against them. They keep trying to make plays on this Irelia, and Irelia is just very strong at dealing with multiple people.
And she's the furthest ahead on Lawrence's team.
It looks like they're going for kind of a last-ditch effort team fight here. It looks like they might have caught Irelia out. They do get the kill on Irelia, and they trade 2 kills for it by the looks of it. Oh, until Jin flashes in and gets the 3rd kill, which makes it not really worth it. 2 kills for Irelia, that's probably a worth it trade.
Yeah.
3 kills for Irelia, it's really tough to say that because they're getting all this turret pressure.
Yeah, and Renekton wasn't even there. That was a 4v5, and SMSU still.
And you can see how that gold lead really ends up being a lot of pressure. They don't even need one member of their team there to win the fight. and
And
to win it pretty heavily.
yeah, and they can just leave Renekton bottom, and he can just keep getting more money,
Yep.
keep pushing that lane, get a tower, whole
A-
team gets more money, and there's more map pressure.
And get that 2 level lead now. We saw Set with that first blood, but at this point, that first blood doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, and Aurelia having that 2 level lead too, so she's even further ahead than her gold or
Mhm.
kills or CS indicates.
Yeah, if you sit down and you look at that, Gordrick is just so tough to deal with this patch. And Blade of the Rune King, Phage versus Nasher's Tooth, Boots. So she's down a full item and then some.
Does
Or she's up a
SMSU
full item
have
and then
any
some.
item? Are they itemized at all to have any Grievous runes apply anywhere?
By the looks of it, not yet. And they really do need it.
They need that definitely for that. Not even just for the
There is
Aurelia.
a Bramble Vest on the set, but that only applies if you're CCing that
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 champion.
Aurelia or she's attacking you. And it looks like Lawrence is just going to go for the Baron. This is free. SMSU doesn't know they're doing it, and even if they did, there's nothing they can do about it. With Iron dead for another 7 seconds,
And
Lawrence
super
is going to look for an early end here.
plus as they're trying to deal with those super minions pushing down that mid lane.
Yep, and especially with, Caitlyn's not ahead. She's not doing a lot of damage. They're having to bring these super creeps into the towers to even get help dealing with them.
Yeah, Caitlyn really not online at all right now. Not
No.
able to do much. And with that Aurelia and Renekton or Pantheon, they're just gonna dive onto that Caitlyn. They're just
And if you look at who's online for SMSU, is it anybody? Maybe Set. Maybe you can say Set is going to be able to do a little bit of work in these team fights, but not by himself.
yeah.
I mean, look at this Renekton just chase him down. Look at how much more HP Renekton has than him.
Gets a massive shield there, but it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Jin chases him down here. Gets the kill. Now it looks like this is going to be another early game for SMSU to go out in. But, you never say it's done until it's done. We'll see if SMSU are able to hold the 2 inhibitors down. One of their last Nexus turrets being pressured here by the super creeps. Aurelia looks like she's looking for a kill.
Yeah,
Stun
Aurelia
on
just
no.
she knows how strong she is. She's just gonna take
Look
you
at
out.
that damage done by Aurelia. She takes Fountain for 2 seconds. The only reason SMSU gets the kill in that team fight is because she dove Fountain.
Yeah, and Lawrence is gonna look here to just finish off these Nexus turrets, finish off the Nexus, and win the game pretty convincingly here.
And it looks like SMSU calls for the surrender there, and that ends the game between SMSU and Lawrence State. Lawrence State winning 2-0 in a pretty clean game from Lawrence State. We saw a few small blunders by them, but SMSU just wasn't able to keep up with their aggression throughout the game.
Yeah, I in both of those games, especially, surprisingly even more so on the Ivern than the Udyr, but there was just not that jungle pressure from
Yep.
SMSU to help their lanes out and help actually get their laners ahead to the point where they can actually compete.
We saw in that first game that Udyr had a nice gank mid, and that was able to keep the mid laner in the game for a long period of time. But we didn't see the same success this game. That Aurelia just took over that game through mid lane. It's tough to deal with that Aurelia. You just need jungle pressure, and it didn't seem like SMSU's jungle and mid laner were on the same